And you're
It
the
was
first
awesome
gold
feeling.
medalist, man, that I've ever had on. A big question for me is, what was it like, man, standing on that podium with the flag being raised, and you're over here with your gold medals. Like you said, you were the first, gold medalist at 106, the first Latino, with the gold medal, the first
Right,
Chicano, with the gold medal,
right.
and so on and so forth. What was it like standing on that podium, man? I mean, you got this medal right here wrapped around your neck there.
Man, it was just so awesome. The excitement was is that I kept telling myself when the national anthem was playing and I was trying to sing, the anthem, I was getting all choked up and because there's nothing. I mean, God, it, it's such an awesome feeling, to be up there and hear your national anthem and see it raised among these other countries. It's a feeling that is like, oh man, it's so phenomenal. It's like seeing your first baby being born. It's just seeing life coming to life. Being born. It's almost similar to that. The excitement, the feeling. It is so awesome. It's like when people tell me, "How do you describe it?" I say, it's like seeing your baby being born. It is just so awesome. Especially when I've been dreaming about it. For so long, and
It's like yourself being
awesome.
born in a way, because this is where you're born. This is where you came into life in a way, for everybody to see.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I guess there was two births being done at one time, and it was just an awesome feeling. And then what made it even more special is when I was singing the national anthem, I kind of looked down and I saw my mom right at ringside and my brothers and sisters, and oh man, I kept telling myself, "Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry," and geez, the tears just started rolling. I was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it." They just started coming down,
And let's add
and
to
then
that. Let's add to that, and not be too modest here, Paul. On top of all this, everything we said, the first 106, U.S. Olympic champion ever, the first Latino, gold medalist in the whole thing. You got the Val Barker trophy, which is, goes to the best athlete in boxing, which is pretty much equivalent to the pound for pound, the best fighter of the Dream Team, man. I mean,
that's right.
what did that feel like on top of everything else, man? Frosting on the cake.
Wow, that was just awesome because I saw the award and I looked at it and I was like, wow, man, look at that award. I go, man, I'm gonna win that award. I was just telling myself that, but mainly they had basically already picked, word going around that Mark Breland, the guy from New York, was going to win it. He was supposed to have won the Val Barker Cup as the most outstanding boxer of the Olympic Games, of '84, and I outbeat him. And I was shocked because I didn't think I had a chance because since I didn't have to box my last fight because of Salvatore Tedesco's fractured thumb, I didn't think I had a chance then because I had thought I did great on all my fights. I gave everyone a boxing lesson, but I didn't get to knock anybody out in my last fight, so I didn't think I had a chance. And when they gave me the award and I won it unanimously, I was like, oh my God,
And now
awesome.
all the festivities being over,
Ooh,
the Olympics being over and all that stuff, and
yeah,
all the media, man. You being from LA, the Olympics just happened in LA. You won a gold medal. All these little accolades that we just talked about. You getting this Val Barker trophy and the whole thing. What was media like around you? I mean, did they just kind of mob you there? Where
oh, absolutely. It was like I was Baby Elvis. I was Baby Elvis in LA. It was awesome. The thing is too, what people don't understand. I was the first, so I opened up the doors for a lot of guys that followed after me. The road to gold was already paved. It was already there. All these guys had to do was just stay quiet and just go with the program. Everything would be in paper for them. It was tough. I mean, it was tough for me coming out of it, doing it and being the first and because nobody knew how to work with, how they're going to sell Latino. And I was, hey man, I can sell your product in English, Spanish, Japanese, Chinese. I don't care. I'll do it in any language you want, you know. But everybody kept telling me I was before my time. I was before my time.
And thinking about it, you're right. I mean, you came from the '84 Olympics, the first, as we spoke about.
Right.
In '88, came guys like Michael Carbajal, which was one of my favorites. Who was also Mexican American. '92, of course, Raul Marquez and De La Hoya. '96, guys like Vargas and these guys. 2000, Juan Diaz and all, Rocky Juarez and everybody else after that. So in a way, you did pay that way.
Absolutely, and I looked at it, and you know what, Fernando Vargas, everybody don't like whatever. Hey, I like the guy. The guy gave me my props. He came up to me one time when I went to go see him when he was at the box office, when he was boxing off to make the team. He came up to me and he said, "You know what, man? Thank you, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have the opportunity to be here." I was like, "Hey, thank you."
Wow, that's awesome.
You did it, man. You did it. So it was great. And I remember him telling me that, and it was awesome. I felt good, It was really nice of him.
So you had this gold medal, and what do? What's the first thing you do? Do you go back in the hood and just throw it up in the air? I mean, what's going on right there, man?
I went back in my hood and we partied, baby. That's what we did. I mean, there was parties all over, man. I mean, it was awesome. We came back down as soon as I finished winning my gold medal. I went down to the Hollenbach Youth Center, and we had a big old party there. I came in, everybody was surprised that I was there, and we had all the members, the police officers, councilmen, and everybody was there. It was awesome. It was great. We had Congressman Roybal, Edward Roybal was there. I mean, it was awesome. I mean, it was such a beautiful experience. And,
you didn't happen to go to my favorite restaurant, El Tepeyac, over there in L.A., right?
Oh, yeah, of course. El Tepeyac, yeah, with Manuel, of course, man. Manuel was giving people tequila shots, and, the guy was awesome, and it was great, and it was just a beautiful experience, beautiful experience, and I enjoyed it. And then when I ran for city council for Los Angeles, 14th district, Manuel even put up my posters, let me display my election items around there, let people remember. Vote for Paul Gonzalez, But it was awesome. I mean, the Olympics is, it was a dream come true. I remember when I was young, I used to run to McDonald's, and McDonald's didn't even know this. They were getting me ready for the Olympics. I was always running over to McDonald's from where I lived at in the projects up towards Main Daily, where McDonald's was, right across the street from the hospital, General Hospital there, and back. So it was like about probably 2.5 miles up, 2.5 miles back, about 5 miles. And I was doing that just to get the scratcher to see if I won. They had scratchers. You'd scratch it off and they'll say boxing, you win a hamburger, or, or one of those, Sundays or whatever. So I was doing that, and I was getting in shape for that. And McDonald's, helped me get in shape. And they didn't know that. But it was fun. It was a really great experience for me to see a lot of these youngsters, see that, hey, man, if he could do it, I could do it too. He came from the projects. Hey, it don't matter where you came from, It's all about believing in yourself, believing in God, and having the support. The support of not only the community, but your friends and family. It was awesome.
What was it like that first night, man? You're there at the Hollywood Palladium, and getting ready for your first pro debut, and no headgear, lighter gloves, no shirt, and all that stuff. What was that experience like before you walked out to that drapes, man?
Oh my God, it was awesome, and it was really nerve-wracking. I was nervous. I was so nervous. I wasn't scared. I was shaking, but I wasn't scared of my opponent because my opponent had 40 fights under his belt. I had none. I heard that he had just gotten back from Europe beating Charlie Magley, who was the world champion. And here I am fighting this guy, and I only have one. I haven't even had a fight yet. Here I am fighting Jose Purgatores for my first fight. And he was from, where was he from? I guess he was from Arizona, man, And here I am. I'm getting ready to fight him, and I was really nervous. But I went out there. I believed in myself. And I knew I had speed, so I just boxed. My trainer just said, don't get careless. Don't get careless. Just keep your hands up and just box. Box. And that's what I did. I boxed his ears off for 6 rounds. My second fight, I went 8 rounds, and then my third fight, I went 12 rounds for the title.
What was your fifth fight? You fought Orlando Canizales, man, Mr. International Boxing Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
In your fifth fight, man, and you got a victory, a 12-round victory over him. Why did you fight a guy like him in your fifth pro fight?
You know what? It was an opportunity. He was coming after my title, and he wanted it. And, he had the credentials. Not only that, I think I'm not sure, I think we might have sparred. I don't know if we sparred in the amateurs or we fought. I don't think we fought in the amateurs. But he was an amateur back in the days as well, good little fighter from Texas. And, we fought. As a matter of fact, when him and I were getting ready for our fight, I was training with Richie Sandoval, who was fighting his brother, Gabby Canizales. So Richard got me ready for this fight. Got me ready for Orlando, and I got him ready for Gabby. The outcomes were different, but I gave Orlando a spanking. I spanked him, and not only that, but the ring, it was so hot in there. It was so hot. I mean, the floor was burning our feet. I mean, my feet, the bottom of my soles were all burned. I was bleeding under my feet. My soles of my feet were all bloody. And I know that Orlando was in his corner, and he wanted to quit. He didn't want to go out there because his legs were tired. They were burning too. And, he didn't want to come out. He was going to quit. And, hey, I gave him a boxing lesson. He couldn't hit me. He couldn't see what he couldn't hit. That was me. The thing is I just gave him a boxing lesson. He's a good fighter. I mean, he caught me in the first round. I threw a lazy jab. He came over the top with the right hand and caught me, spun me around. I lost my balance. I was trying to keep from falling, but my gloves touched the canvas. They called it a knockdown. Okay, no problem. And then I got headbutted. I got headbutted by him. And I fought all the way through with a cut eye, and beat him, spanked him for 12 rounds. And then we fought again, and I didn't want to fight him. They kept giving me the fight. They gave it to me like 3 times. I turned it down because they wanted me to go to Texas. I said, no, let's go somewhere neutral. Let's go back up to Nevada or so. Let's go to Vegas. Let's go to Lake Tahoe where we fought the first time. I wanted somewhere other than Texas, but they kept bringing it back to Texas. And then finally I just said, you know what, all right, let's do it. Let's do it. Maybe it was a calling. Maybe I can go to Texas and I'll spank them in front of everybody in Texas. I said, the reason why I don't want to go back there is because I'm from Texas, and because I'm raised in California, man, they're going to call me a traitor. They're not going to vote for me. Are you kidding? So I'm going to have everybody against me. So I go up there to Texas, and I fought him, and he came running out, and right then and there, I told the referee, watch out for his head. First thing that happens, I get headbutted in the first round, and I get cut, and Barry Yates ends up stopping the fight in the second round because of the cut. I'm like, come on, man. It's a championship fight. It's a cut. I got a cut man who I'm paying good money for. Chuck Bodak, rest his soul. Chuck Bodak, one of the great cut men in the boxing business. They didn't give him an opportunity to work on my eye. He only had 1 round to try to keep the blood from coming out. And, when I came out for the second round, a trickle of blood came down, and the referee, Barry Yates, stepped in and stopped.
Yeah, stopped it in the second round, man. And you brought up a few different things that just got my mind going with that Richard Sandoval fight against Gabby Canizales, and it didn't come out good for Richie Sandoval. And actually, I think in '84 he did some kind of walk around at the Olympics because in '80, he wasn't able to fight for whatever reason.
Right.
So
he carried the flag.
That's right.
The flag into the Olympic arena.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I remember, actually, I watched a documentary on the '84 Olympics maybe about a few weeks back, but yeah, I remember that. And then you brought up Chuck Bodak, man. Oh, rest in peace, Chuck Bodak. What a great legendary cut man.
Exactly,
great fighter.
Man.
But
great
yeah,
guy,
I mean,
he's awesome.
I mean, I've had Orlando Canizales here on my show before. And
did he say he loved me? He said he loved me, huh? He loved me. I'm his idol. I'm his idol. I spanked him. I'm his idol.
but you go on and you finish your professional career after just about 20 fights or so, man. Why
Yeah.
after just 20 fights did you decide to hang him up?
Well, I really had 24 fights. I was 20-4 as a pro. Okay, with 3 knockouts, and I just kind of got a little tired of the game. I got tired of the game. The fact of the matter was is now these promoters were trying to use me against up and coming opponents, and I'm like, I don't care. I'll fight them. Just pay me right. Just pay me right. If you don't want to pay me right, then Paul Gonzalez ain't gonna step in the ring.
And you were trained by Alberto Davila, right?
Alberto Davila, yeah, he came in and worked with me for a while.
Yeah.
I had Dub Huntley came in and worked with me for a bit, and Alberto Davila, bantamweight champion.
Man, he was a legend in all those fights in the Olympic.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I had them, but the true chemistry was Al Stanky and Paul Gonzalez. That was a true chemistry right there. Nobody could beat us. I think we only lost one fight together in the amateurs and just one fight as a pro.
And once you left the ring, did you ever look back and say to yourself, like, man, or even now, do you say to yourself, like, why didn't I stay a little longer, or maybe I should have done this or that? Do you ever think about things like that?
Yeah, I'll tell you, a lot of fighters are going to do that. A lot of fighters will think that. They'll second guess themselves or whatever. And yeah, I'm going to say I did that. I mean, I told myself when I saw these guys boxing, came out and all these fights, I'm going, oh my God, why did I stop? I can beat these guys. Look at these champions, new champions. I'm not looking at these guys. It's ridiculous. You got all these titles now. The titles now, the championships that they win, don't really mean anything anymore. They don't mean anything because everybody's got a title. You just have so many different titles here, there, and everywhere. Everybody's a champion. And then I look at the quality of fighters that they have. No, you know what? They're all made up. They're all makeup. Like Oscar De La Hoya, same thing. They catered to these guys. They got them fighters that, they can knock out. They dug down to the grave and they fought them. That's how they were. And they built up their records to be 20-0 with 20 knockouts. But then when they fight somebody that's good, someone who's not afraid to go all out, they end up getting beat. And then people say, oh, what happened? Oh, it was a fluke. No fluke. The thing is, the guy was never really ready. He fought guys that he could beat, knock out, no problem, easy. But when they fought somebody who had credentials, capability, desire, determination, then they ran into a brick wall. And that happens to a lot of fighters. It happens to a lot of fighters that get catered to. Oscar, he had his. Shane Mosley was the guy that put it to him. A couple other guys. And then, but the one thing that got me is when he got beat by a midget. That made me laugh. I was like, what? How did he get beat by Pacquiao? Come on, that's a midget. I couldn't believe it. But, that was embarrassing. It's a good thing that he did retire because that's embarrassing. And then that tells you, yeah, he was okay. He was an okay fighter. He wasn't a great fighter like he says he is, but he was okay. He was okay. And then you had other fighters like John the Beast Mugabe, right? Here's a guy who had like 25 fights, 25 knockouts. He was awesome, knocking out a lot of people. But then when he fought the likes of marvelous Marvin Hagler popped his bubble. That's what I'm talking about. People you're getting catered to, because they build up people's records, these promoters. And they get these guys in there. But then when they get in there with someone that's good, that could fight, and is not afraid, they're going to get beat.
What do you think of the LA boxing scene nowadays? You kind of just brought up Oscar and what you thought of him there, but what did you think of like the guys that came out after you from your area, from the LA area, where you were accustomed to? Of course, they didn't get to see what it was like to be at the Main Street Gym and stuff like that.
Oh,
like you probably had the chance to be in that. Unfortunately now it's just like a parking lot or whatever. But historic gym like that. What have you seen since then, since your time in the LA boxing scene?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, it was sad. It was sad when they tore down the Main Street Gym right there on Main Street. It was awesome. I had great sparring there. I sparred there with some great champions that were coming up, from Mexico, like Alfonso Zamora and Carlos Zarate.
Wow.
I sparred with these guys, and here I am was a little kid, and I got to work out with these guys. Ruben Olivares, when he was there, and I would watch him. Oh my God, you had
Lupe Pintor and Pepino Cuevas,
Yeah, Lupe Pintor, Pepino Cuevas. You even had Muhammad Ali when he worked out there at the Main Street Gym. You know, oh man, you just had a lot of great fighters. You know, Zuma Nelson. You know, man, we just had so many great fighters. You know, that were there, and I used to spar with a lot of these guys. I loved it. It was awesome. And yeah, I was only weighing about 100 pounds, and you know, I would get in there and learn from these guys and work out with these guys. I mean, I got Hilario Zapata, you know, who was a flyweight champion of the world from Colombia, and I sparred with them at the Main Street Gym, and we worked out there I got him ready for his championship fight. And I was just an amateur. I was only like 15 or 16 years old and giving them a workout. And my trainer, you know, Stanky was like, hey, son, they want to turn you pro already. They want to know if you fight them for the world title. I'm like, nah, Pops, I'm looking for the Olympics. You know, that's the way it was. You know, I tell you, that's how good I was.
You brought up Zuma Nelson, and Zuma Nelson fought, you know, one of my favorite guys from LA that ever fought was Gennaro Hernandez Chicharito.
Yeah,
and his brother Rudy was actually one of the last fighters to come out of the Main Street Gym before it was closed down.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. You know, because that was like, wow, it was awesome. You know, Carol Steimer, you know, and her father, who ran the Main Street Gym. You know, they're awesome people, and they're beautiful. You know, what happened to her father, you know, and everything that was going on there. But when the Main Street Gym was there, it was like you're walking back in time, and history was there.
It was like the Field of Dreams, huh?
Exactly. You know, here I am walking up those stairs of the Main Street Gym. Oh my God, it was awesome. I was there with legends. You know, it was just beautiful, beautiful.
And it's kind of funny. I was talking to, I think it was Rudy Hernandez. We were talking about how, you know, back in the day, you know, you try to go into these, you know, dirty, smelly gyms, and that's what you wanted to train at. Nowadays, you know, if you don't have the most modernized equipment, if it's not perfectly clean, the fighters nowadays, they don't even want to go in there. You know, it's totally different.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. You look at it, you're like, come on, you guys are serious. Really, you know, it was funny because you go to the gym, you go where you work. You don't go there to look pretty. You go there to work. So you want the gym smelling. You want to feel the sweat, the blood. You know, you want to know somebody got killed in there or whatever. You know, and that's the way it was in all these old gyms. Nowadays they're all modernized. They're all clean. They smell like potpourri and all this other stuff. You know, like, come on, real. It's like, come on. You know, you don't get that feeling, that killing, the instincts. You know.
And looking back at your career, man, is there anything that you would change or anything you would make different or anything that, you know, if you could, you know, erase or add to, would you change if you could go back into time?
You know what? Well, I think that what I would have probably done, you know, was I probably would have fought guys that they dug out of the grave. I mean, I should have just fought and driven my record to like 40-0 and then fought somebody good, you know. Instead, you know, I didn't have that luxury.
Is that a shot at Canelo Alvarez? Or
oh, there you go. There's another one, too, you know. But, no, you know, the thing is just the fact that, you know, I wasn't taken care of in the sense to where they took care of me. My trainer said, you could fight, we're going to fight. And then we fought, you know. I didn't go there. I didn't take no bribes. I didn't take nothing like that. I didn't take no guys that just, they drugged out of the grave. I wish they did, you know, where you can barely feel their pulse, their heartbeat, you know, but I didn't get that. I didn't get those kind of fighters. I got these guys that didn't want to go down. These guys wanted to knock me out, you know, because they saw this tall, skinny kid over there. They go, I'm going to knock him out, right? But they got their butt spanked. But, you know, I think to change anything, you know, I think I would have let my body rest a lot more opposed to just rushing it, because I kept breaking down a lot. And I had a lot of injuries in workouts in my training camps. You know, I think I should have just gave my body the time to rest. If it was going to need a month or 2 months or 2 months, I should have done that. Instead, I was always in the gym every day, worked out every day, whether I was fighting or not. And I didn't give my body the proper rest. There are a few times I took some rest when I had to take 3 months off because I had hand surgery, or you know, I had a car accident, busted my knee. I was out for like another 3 or 6 months, you know, something like that. There's a time that I rest, and I got stronger, and then I started knocking people out, started getting the feel to it, you know, and getting some knockouts. But, you know, a lot of the injuries would hurt my career. I took the best that they got, and, you know, they gave them to me, and I fought them. You know, I loved it. I thanked the opportunity for it, you know, and, you know, I fought some tough fighters, and, you know, nobody laid down for me. That's what I could say.
And you're blessed to, you know, obviously you remember all this stuff. You talk perfectly fine. You're mentally, you know, all there. But some of those physical injuries that you said that you know, had while you were fighting, do you feel any of those physical injuries today?
Oh, absolutely. You know, my knees. You know, I was sparring with Carlos Hernandez. You know, who was a world champion. Yeah, him and I were sparring, and we ended up cracking knees. You know, we cracked knees, and I went down, and he went down and fell on my knee, on my other knee, and next thing you know, I had torn rib cartilage in both of my knees, and I had to have surgery done. I was getting ready for a fight, and I was like, oh my God, what next? You know, I think what happened was, guy just told me, son, enough's enough. When it finally hung up the gloves, he said, it's it, man. I'm giving you all these hints to quit boxing, but you never did. So, you know, he put these roadblocks in my way. And it was funny because I was getting ready for a title fight, and Carlos and I were sparring, and we kind of came in together and cracked knees. Went down, and he landed on one of my legs, and my knees, I just messed them up. And then I had to have surgery done. I went to an orthoscopic the next day, orthoscopic surgeon, and he looked at them and did operation on both my knees. It was like, oh, what? Really? Seriously? It was really funny. It wasn't funny. It really hurt. Cost me money too.
And the only El Salvadorian champion.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and the only Salvadorian champion. That's great. You know, so yeah, I know Carlos. Carlos and I, you know, we go back a long ways because my trainer used to work with him, train him and everything.
Paul, even though you're going to be here, you know, another 50, 75, 100 years, man, and you're going to be around for a long time, brother, but how does Paul Gonzalez, the Superfly, want to be remembered?
Wow. I guess I want to be remembered as someone who made a difference in boxing. You know, gave a lot of people hope. And a lot of these little people, like a lot of these Chicanos and a lot of these Mexican Americans, to look and say, you know what, or anybody, if he could do it, I could do it too. You know, especially from where I came from and what I went through. You know, for them to say, yeah, if you could do it, I could do it too. Giving that hope out there. And, you know, I had a great career. It could have been a lot better and a lot longer, but, you know, God chose me to do something else, and he led me there and did what I had to do. And, you know, now God's taking me to other avenues now to work with kids and helping out kids and inspiring kids, you know, that are in boxing, and let them know that they can do it too and keep moving forward if they choose that. If not, there's education. You know, if your kid's not athletically inclined, he might be mentally inclined. Hit the books, become a doctor, lawyer, you know, whatever it is, but never doubt yourself.
And you're mentoring right now. You're helping out in the gym and all that. You know, talk a little bit about that, man, about what you're doing and how you're helping out still in this boxing game, man.
Yeah, I'm in the boxing world. I got boxers out of Eddie, a boxing club for LA County Parks and Recreation. So, you know, I have boxing tournaments that we have at our boxing club. As a matter of fact, we have a boxing show happening March 29th. I believe it's a Saturday, and it's going to be at the Eddie Boxing Club where I'm at 5127 East Olympic Boulevard, you know, in Los Angeles. If anybody wants to come out, hey, it'll be a great show. You know, we got a lot of kids, and it's going to be awesome. And so I'm still there working with these kids, and you know, they see me there, and they, you know, they ask me questions, you know, and I got other guys that want to know about the Olympics and so forth, and it inspires a lot of them.
Very true, man. And Paul, this is how I remember you, man, and this is how I'll always think of you and remember you, man. I mean, you were that guy that did pave the way, man. There's probably Mexican fighters before you. There's probably Mexican American fighters before you, but you were that Mexican American fighter, that first one that went into the Olympics, that won a gold medal. You know, there's so many kids nowadays, so many Mexican American kids that are doing that, are trying to make it to become pro, or trying to make it from pro to become a world champion. And Paul Gonzalez is a real inspiration on what to follow, on what to do, and how to get there. A kid from the hood getting to the Olympics, becoming a pro, and doing what you're doing, where you're still to this day still helping out the kids, man. And you're a real true inspiration, and that's what you mean to me, and that's what I'll always think about you every time I think of the name Paul Gonzalez.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
And Paul, man, I hope down the line, man, you could come back on, and we could probably try to chat boxing or some stories that you went through in your life and in your career, and with some of these boxers that you've spoken of. And this time I just wanted to at least have you on to bring up what you did, your accomplishments, and everything you're doing today, letting everybody know that you're alive and well, that you're still around and helping out in this game, man. And we appreciate you for that fact. And trust me, you're not forgotten at all in the Latino community, and take it from me.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate that, bro.